This video has spoilers.
Lots and lots of spoilers.
If you haven't played it yet, definitely go play it right now, or just watch this video and we'll explain everything, really. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Gentleman's Gaming Club. My name's Jesse Cox.
I'm Michael Santel.
And today, we're getting real witchy with it.
That's right. Whip out your lollies, because we be playing Bayonetta. Nope.
So now that I have more things in my hands than a human should have.
Yeah, you have too many. Do you want me to help you? Do you want me to hold something? Oh, okay, this is better. This is better.
This is going to be great. So, Bayonetta is about a young woman who is on the run from the heavenly law.
The devil wants her, the angels want her, everybody wants her.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, well, her and her friends are hot.
So, what is this game even about?
Bayonetta is about magic. It's about evil European cult and knowing the truth behind the witches and the witches' enemies. It's about your inner child being an outward child. It's about turning into a cat or a bird or a catbird. Your choice. Magic. Bayonetta is about going to a bar, buying guns, and then when you're done, licking a lolly.
That's actually accurate. That's actually an accurate depiction.
That's very accurate. You do a lot of that in this game.
Hashtag hell buddies.
Hashtag hell buddies.
Hashtag hell buddies.
Hashtag muddy buddies.
And all of it revolves around being a sexy witch. And that's sexy.
It's so sexy. Her friends are sexy. Even people that shouldn't be sexy. The random European people. Sexy.
Even Enzo. Sexy.
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 Super sexy.
Everyone's sexy. Strap yourselves in, hold on to your butts, and get ready for insanity.
Yeah, you don't even need a broomstick. She'll just fly. Just head off. Here we go.
Cheers, dear friend.
Cheers, dear friend. Welcome back.
Often I say to myself, where do we begin when we start these? I just want you to know.
Okay.
When we set off to do this show, we were in search of the holy grail, this perfect intersection of weird and sexy and funny and just enjoyable.
Right.
We found it already.
It's here.
We found it already.
These are all the things I want in a game. It knows exactly what it's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing. You know, like Kids Incorporated, where it's like for kids by kids? This felt like Adults Incorporated. Made by adults for other adults.
It is a mature game. I just want you to know, I wrote down butterfly mask in the beginning, sexy. Her glasses, super sexy.
Yeah.
I like glasses. Her outfit, amazing. I love her. Her double jump is a butterfly.
Yeah, everything about her reeks like fantasy, but also like just walking around, she's sexy. She's always sexy and confident.
I think it's also the British accent.
Do you naughty little angels deserve a good spanking?
Well, I was going to say, I've never been to Europe before, and I can only tell you, Europe is a magical place, Jesse, with majestic gardens and fountains everywhere. And
I did want to get this out of the way. People ask me,
yeah,
with a frequency that is pretty insane, Jesse, if you could be in any video game world, where would you be? And I constantly am like, I don't want to live in a video game world unless you're the hero. All those worlds suck.
Yeah, living in the Mushroom Kingdom would
Everything
be
sucks.
awful.
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't want to be any of those. However, after playing this game, I very much want to live in this world.
It's a pretty good world.
It is insanity. I feel like I'd be the Joe Pesci character, like, oh, shit, man. But I'd be fine with that. And I just want to let you know that it is my life goal to dress you up in sort of like a white angel outfit and have Pam Horton come and just kick the crap out of you for my amusement.
I would be so down just to be close to the Avatar version of her. There's so many times in video games where you have to like get your hero to a certain level, right? Like the hero, like you have to level them up so they can do it. No, Bayonetta's the whole package. They just like waste her time until she decides to end them.
She is so incredible. And the best part about this is then they have the like gray Delisle version of her, this white-haired version. I was like, this could be part of Santel's new fetish.
I like them both. They're both different. One's like an evening look, one's like a day look. You dress them up in different outfits. They do hot nun cosplay. I didn't even know nun cosplay was a thing.
They even make a cosplay joke. She's like, this is the last time I cosplay. And I was
like, you're like, come on, let's go. This is a game that you can't put your controller down.
When you start and it gives you the tutorial of how to play, options pop up. When you first have the little angel guy who comes at you, button combinations, it reminded me a lot of Dynasty Warriors games where it's just mash, mash, mash this, mash, mash, mash that, mash this and that, do this. And so I was like, okay, At first, I was a little overwhelmed.
Yep.
Then they throw you in combat, and I'll be real with you, I don't know what I did. I don't know how I did it, but goddamn, it looked beautiful.
It's so
incredible. It's so visually appealing for a game that technically is kind of old.
I will let you know that the entire time I was playing this game, I kept thinking back to what a piece of shit Deadly Premonition was. Because this is roughly about the same time, and everything about this game feels streamlined and new. It feels like a movie.
For Deadly Premonition's sake, the version you're playing is like the redone, I don't know how much of it was redone actually, but it's the Switch version.
Right. It's great.
Agreed. It's one of the best gameplay experiences I've ever played.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Should we start at the beginning?
God, here's the thing. This game usually will sit here and be like, there's such a complex, amazing story. The story of this game is almost non-existent.
Yeah, it's there's bad guys and a girl who doesn't remember her past. Go.
Yeah, so the story is two clans in Europe 500 years ago.
Yeah.
The Umbra Witches and the Lumen Sages.
Are the Lumen the bad guys? Kind of?
Well, I think the idea is that there are no good guys and bad guys. The whole point is that they're supposed to live in harmony, that they're these two eyes that, in balance, keep everything in check, right?
Right.
Because apparently, a long time ago, there was an Armageddon, and the Armageddon killed God, ?
Yeah.
And created heaven, hell, and
purgatory.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a weird, I drew like triangle. There's like a triangle of
Straight
areas.
up Catholicism. If
It's
you want to
so
know,
Catholicism.
if you need to know what the plot of this is, it's Catholicism and it's Dante's Inferno.
But it's got that wonderful Japanese spin on it where you see these angelic, horrific angels with like cherubs and baby faces on there, and they all just want to kill you.
The little snitch.
Yeah,
guys,
the little golden snitch
golden
shows
snitches
up.
that come get you.
Love it.
The opening could have been just text. It could have been a cinematic, but instead, you're fighting on a giant clock tower, crumbling to pieces off a cliff, and it's telling you about how these two eyes control time, and
It's
an awesome visual way to represent that.
It's also, you're right about the buttons being overwhelming because you as a player are overwhelmed.
It drops you in like,
you're like,
go.
oh, you gotta move around, you gotta fight some things. Oh, there's demons coming at you. Oh, your friend's over there. Oh, also there's like the most intense war going on.
It's not a perfect game.
Right.
But the things you're doing, I no longer cared that it wasn't perfect.
While there are flaws in the game itself makes up for it.
Absolutely. Everything about the game, I think, is just enhanced by the fact that no one on this staff takes themselves seriously.
Nobody.
And no one takes the game seriously. And so you get this idea of people just making it, having fun. It's like when you saw Ocean's 11, you were like, you know what? I think everyone who made this, they were just got together and had a party.
Right.
This whole intro plays out. At a certain point, the two factions have an imbalance, and you're not really sure why. Chaos erupts, and the two factions essentially kill each other out. The Umbra Witches and the Lumen Sages. And humanity sees this and is like, yo, the witches won, but they're so beat up. I think this is supposed to be the Inquisition.
The Inquisition. Let's begin.
Yeah, I guess
I think that's what they're saying. And so they hunt down the witches and they kill them all, and only one witch remained. And cut to the future.
This game introduces Bayonetta like 7 times. They introduce her again, and then they introduce her a third time.
You're absolutely right. And it's weird that they do that, especially because the third intro is the perfect crazy intro. Before that even starts, we get a scene with a mysterious figure on a plane full of cultists that kill themselves.
Yeah.
And
I love that she's like hiding in the shadows. She looks like Carmen Sandiego.
Oh, absolutely.
She looks so fucking hot as Carmen Sandiego.
Jean, you mean.
Thank you.
And she's in there hiding, watching them kill themselves. And I was like, what does this have to do with anything? Because it doesn't ever have a payoff yet.
Yeah, right. It takes a little bit of time.
The scene cuts, bam, we're in a graveyard, and going back to the devs not taking themselves seriously, in this scene, we scroll past tombstones, and we see the different people who worked on the game. We see the logos of Platinum and all these different things. We get to the director of the game.
Yeah, shout out to Hideki Kayami.
And Joe Pesci is just pissing on the stuff.
Yeah!
I was like, this is incredible. And we see I assume, nun/priestess praying over a coffin, and this guy who is definitely Joe Pesci. There's no one he's not. It's Joe Pesci.
It's either Joe Pesci or it's John Leguizamo doing more, like,
Yes,
it's
yes.
1 degree either way. It's so good.
And he's like, oh, look, this guy. Oh, he's dead. No, you don't got to pray over this guy. He's going to burn in hell. No one's going to save his ass. What are you doing?
Drops an F-bomb so quickly. It was so startling to hear an F-bomb in a video game. I was like, oh my God. And then he hits again. I'm like, thank God this is for adults.
In combat, even Bayonetta.
Yeah.
It's like, don't f with a witch. I was like,
That's
yeah.
so good. Let's go, Bayonetta.
He watches this whole scene play out, and he's like, come on, I gotta go. It's my birthday today, and my kids are making me a cake.
Can't believe someone had kids with him. Can't believe that there's a wife or a woman in there somewhere.
I can. He had a great car.
Yeah.
So a light shines down from the heavens, and this priestess looks up, and he's like, what? They're coming for him? Oh, no. Angels descend from the sky. I guess this dude can see the angels. And the nun drops her Bible, flies into this symbol.
Yeah, the affinity angels show up, and she does her interdimensional witch portal, pops through it,
and beats those angels dead. I thought to myself, you know what? I don't know what's going on, but this is cool as shit.
It's so cool. Everything about it is cool. In other games where you're confused and you're like, I don't understand what's going on, in this game, I want to be confused. I want to go on the adventure. I'm like, yo, let's go.
So as she fights these angels, her clothes gets ripped, and then she goes, ooh, ah.
Yeah.
And then uses her hair to make a new leather outfit?
Question mark? It's like her undergarment is like a see-through meshy with like gold strands down on both sides.
Here's the thing. You might think, Santel, you certainly know a lot about her undergarments. They make it very clear numerous times what she's wearing underneath.
Absolutely. And
They like zoom in on stuff. They're like, oh, yes, no, here's what's going on. She becomes this badass Bayonetta we know from the cover. And then the coffin explodes open and out pops Rodin, who is a demonic agent who is also a bartender and weapon shop owner.
He's a small business owner, Jeff. He wears
he's
a
an
lot of
entrepreneur.
hats.
You're right.
He has
You're
to.
right.
It's very difficult out there for him.
Absolutely.
No one ever goes to his bar. It's 2 people.
You're right.
It's Joe Pesci and her.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so he pops out, just starts tossing her guns.
Yeah, which are shitty guns, and she's okay because he's like, it's not about quality, it's about quantity.
And he
he's like,
has hundreds, I'm going to say hundreds of guns.
Yeah.
Begins throwing them at her, and she brutalizes all these angels to fly me to the moon.
yeah, why do the Japanese love Fly Me to the Moon so much?
Fly me to the moon. This remix is playing as she murders all of these angels. He starts throwing her guns, and the last thing he throws her is a lollipop.
Yeah.
And I wrote this note. The candy to stick ratio of lollipops in this game is out of control.
Yeah.
It's so wasteful. I guess that's why everyone is gorgeous, but also, what the hell? And then murders more angels. And at the time, I was like, why is she murdering angels? What is happening? What is this game? And then you understand that Bayonetta is a witch, and in order to have all her witch powers and to have immortality, she's in league with demons who are like, we won't drag your ass to hell if you bring us angel halos. That's
Yeah.
her payment
Which
to them.
is a Sega game. They're Sonic rings, FYI.
Absolutely.
And they're talking about Eggman the whole time as well.
Is Eggman down there? After this fight, Enzo, who is the Joe Pesci character, his car's wrecked.
Right.
Bayonetta's like, yeah, you better go clean up because I'm going to drive home in 5. So
Yeah.
get back. He's like, don't leave me. And they are on the highway driving back,
Yeah.
having a conversation that is essentially Enzo explaining the entire plot of the game. He's like, 20 years ago, Bayonetta was found in a casket at the bottom of the lake. In order not to get dragged back to hell, she has to do the whole sacrifice Halo thing. And they need to get 2 stones to unlock her past. That's it. And then I wrote this. Is this actually present day? And if it is present day, are we in a Final Fantasy world? Because it's definitely Earth. The map is of Earth. But there are normal trucks, normal cars, normal planes. And then mixed in are straight up Final Fantasy vehicles.
Yeah.
Things that do not exist. There are cars that look like armored tanks. So the crazy plane from the beginning straight up crashes into them.
Right. Yeah. Right. Which now makes a total sense now that why we were there at all.
Yeah. Angels show up, and there's like a mysterious red woman who's there, and you're like, what is going on? But the one thing I took away from this crazy scene is that at the very end, she grabs Enzo and saves him. And I was like, oh, wait. When the battles happen, it's like a pocket dimension and time is slowed. And so most people can't see what's actually happening. So the angels, the crazy fights, all the weird stuff that happens, Most people can't see that, but the woman in red can.
Is this where we fight Jean for the first time, or Jane for the first time?
Jean for the first time.
Yeah.
She shows up in the middle of another fight and is like, well, you're doing pretty okay. Now let me challenge you to a duel. Of course you beat her, but she's only playing with you, and she gets away. They go to the gun shop bar, and you learn that it's basically, like we said, Catholic rules, heaven, hell, purgatory, all that stuff. And Bayonetta's like, I don't care. I just want my new guns. And he reveals these guns, and there's a crazy scene where it's her twirling guns mixed with him mixing drinks.
Yeah, it's so good, though.
And then he gives her a drink. She drinks the drink down. He goes to make her another drink, and he's like, I'm worried you're not out there actually doing stuff. Turns around. She's gone.
She's gone.
Gone. And
leaving fucking poor what's-his-name back there drinking drunk,
yeah.
just racking up a tab.
yeah, he's basically like, it's on your tab, and then he drinks it.
Yeah.
Turns out one of the stones that she needs is in Vigrid, which is in Europe. So she flies. This is insane to me.
Okay.
She flies from New York
To Japan!
to then Europe.
No, to Eastern. She goes to, like, the fucking Trans-Siberian Railroad and gets on a fucking train.
Goes the exact opposite direction you would go.
She went the wrong way, which makes me wonder if she went to, like, secret Europe or something like that.
Atlantis is there, or Midgard somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Because the Europe map gets a little crazy because America is clearly America.
Right.
And then Japan is clearly Japan. And then I'm like, all right, I don't know where the fuck we are anymore.
Then we get a fourth intro. While she's on a train, stands up and catwalks down the train aisle. A creepy VO guy appears
Yeah.
and is like, I've been looking for you, but don't stress it. I'll be around. I'll be here in the story. Don't worry.
I'll be just watching you from the shadows. Just live your life.
And he keeps coming back over and over again. And you're just like, what is this? She gets to Vigrid and is like, so Europe's supposed to be paradise?
Yeah. Again, Europe is a magical place, Jesse.
Magical.
It's all just like Disneyland.
A hell portal opens up. Rodan appears again, and she says another amazing line.
If you get in my way, I will. How do the Americans put it? Oh, yes. Bust a cap in yo ass.
Like, you even said it with a weird inflection, but you know that you're not supposed to say it, which means she's not American.
She's from Vigrid. So there's flashes of her past where she sees Great Delisle's character, and just then she rides up in a motorcycle.
Oh, the best motorcycle.
Because the game gives no shits.
Yeah, no shit's given at all.
And the two of them have a fight because essentially she is the Gary character to Bayonetta.
Right.
She's the friend rival who's a little bit better at everything, but is like, I'm here to make you a better person. In the flashback, you see that Jean and Bayonetta fought for control of the Umber Witches. I guess there was a big, like, you must now choose as the princess of the wind. Whatever. They have a fight.
She chooses Bayonetta, which
she's
is
an outcast.
She's the outcast of the witches. She's not supposed to be there.
And everyone's like, oh, what does that mean? We get a cut after this fight, which, by the way, we can only say this so many times. Another amazing fight scene. We are introduced to Luka, who is the guy who bugged Enzo at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Which we never really talked about, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that happened.
He's like a B character from a Final Fantasy game. He's
really
like
is.
almost pretty enough to be the main character, but he's like a guy you see at a gas station.
Luka, we see running through the streets, Assassin's Creed style.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
In a hood.
Yeah, he's just fucking an assassin guy.
As these guys are chasing him down, and he does like a Assassin's Creed jump pose, and then he runs past a woman, stops, removes the hood, walks backwards, and is like, hello, beautiful. And I was just like, this game is the best game. And then he starts hitting on her, falls backwards over a flower stall, pops back up with a flower, and is like, I'll always think of you. Shing!
It's one of those moments where the game never takes itself too seriously.
Right. The man literally rockets away like Sekiro.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yes. Yeah, he's fucking Tuxedo Mask.
I want to really quickly talk about Luka and Bayonetta's relationship, and that he is obsessed with finding her. And the reason why he's obsessed with finding her,
he believes that she was responsible for the death of his father.
yes, because turns out the day she popped up out of the lake is the day that his dad died at that lake. He thinks that she killed him.
Right.
And so he is obsessed with finding her, and he spends his entire life trying to prove to the world that witches are real, and that he's going to expose her, and he's going to expose this crazy world. But he can't see anything that's going on.
Yeah.
He cannot see her unless she wants to be seen.
It's
And so
X-Files shit.
yeah, she plays with him and messes with him, but she's very flirtatious in it. And she's like, oh, Cheshire. And she like rubs against him and he's like, ugh. But of course she can't harass him all day and makes her way to the nearby cathedral. And Bayonetta sees a young girl. And I was like, wait, is that a ghost? What's that? Again, a lot of stuff seems like it's going to be crazy. And it is.
It is. It all just is crazy.
And you're never simply given answers because right then a giant dragon face angel thing attacks you. Again, so much is happening. I had very little time to actually write down thoughts.
My notes are so shitty for this game. Every time I would put the controller down to write something, I would die in a fucking cutscene. Or I'd die in a quick time event. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta pick up the controller.
So as you fight this boss, you learn that the Lumen sages, they are essentially okay with dying because they're part of a sacrifice to make sure that Jubileus or whoever.
Jubilee from the X-Men.
Jubilee from the X-Men can come back. Clearly there's a bigger plan here, and for some reason Bayonetta's playing into it. It still doesn't make sense, but whatever. It doesn't
She also
matter.
doesn't give a fuck. She'll put a bullet in everybody's brain. Don't fuck with Bayonetta.
And then Bayonetta tortures poor Luka some more.
Oh.
She's like, Cheshire, I'm going to mess with you, and just gives this guy the business. And he mentions something called the Festival of Resurrection, which I was like, oh, that's convenient. He's like, once every 500 years it happens.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Great, that's what we're building towards then.
Makes
Gotcha.
sense. And we learn that Jeanne is working with the angels for some reason, even though she's a witch. And again, another ridiculous fight breaks out between the two of them.
Yeah.
Consistently, every time you fight her is just so much fun. And you learn, oh, she can turn into butterflies, or she can turn into like a cat thing, move bullets with their mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, it'd be crazy if Bayonetta could do all that stuff. And through the course of the game, you can do all of that stuff. And I was like, oh, thank you.
And in an interesting way, it feels like Bayonetta is remembering how to do those things.
Well, that's the thing. She forgot who she was. That's the
Right.
whole point, is she doesn't remember her past. And as you play, you unlock parts of her past.
Which is so fun. It's so good. It's so wonderful to know that it's all the potentials inside of her.
So this takes us back to the little girl that we found in the cathedral, Cereza.
Who looks exactly like a baby Bayonetta
She's
and
like,
calls
"Mummy."
her Mummy.
Right, and for the next bit, she joins you, and she, Luka, and Bayonetta go on sort of wacky adventures. From moment one, I was like, oh, she has the same glasses, kind of. She has the exact same hair. She has an accent.
She's holding a fucking Cheshire cat,
Yeah, and
basically.
she calls Luka Cheshire.
Right.
But one of the angels poses as Bayonetta.
Yeah. One of the sexy angels, right?
Her name was Joy, and I just want to talk about how when she transforms from Bayonetta to this angel form, she like pulls green aura out of her nether regions, we'll say.
Quote, end quote.
And the way Bayonetta beats her, she makes her ride one of those like wooden.
Yeah.
It's dirty. It's a dirty fight. I thought it was gonna be one of those. Cereza, you have to figure out which one of us is your real mommy. Nope.
No,
There's the fight.
Yeah.
They just have a fight, and Bayonetta knocks the Bayonetta out of this angel.
so fucking
and it's just
cool.
like, I know who you are. And she's like, I'm Joy. And you're like, all right,
Here we go.
I'm in. And at that point, they sort of split up. She leaves Cereza with Luka.
Right.
For some reason, he keeps calling her Cerecita.
Yeah, like a weird. Is he
I guess
Spanish?
I don't know, but I don't know.
I also think they don't know and don't care.
Yeah, I think no
They
one cares.
really don't give
That's
a
like
shit.
his nickname for her, but it's her name with Ida at the end of it.
Right.
So the next thing is a boss fight, and it's with this giant angel statue creature, and it ends in the best death in this game, and I'm gonna say maybe any other game. Bayonetta smashes him with a tanker truck, and then slams one of those peeing statues on top of it, and it pees out gas, which she tries to light on fire like a badass, but the flame goes out, and the boss is like, oh. So she just shoots the statue right in the dick.
It's so good. The timing of those things, and you said this before, I love that the boss fights, instead of being something tacked onto an end of a level, are the level.
Yeah. Are all of these bosses, underneath their marble exterior, horrors, like flesh horrors? Because there are many times where she fights them, and as she knocks off part of their body, you see like disgusting, horrible stuff underneath.
Like Cthulhu shit, like the evils of this world that like have survived since the beginning of time.
Then we finally get a scene that was so needed, but
Is it the scene where she straddles him?
first off, that was needed, but no. What I was referring to is he and Cereza are like running through the forest trying to get away from all these monsters.
Yeah.
And trees are crashing down around them. And he's like, what's going on? She's like, oh my God, Bayonetta's here to help us. This is great, Mummy. And he's like, I don't see anything. What's going on? She pulls off her glasses and is like, hey, Look through these.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the fucking other dimension, bro.
And it made so much sense to me why every witch has glasses.
Yeah.
The whole point is you're supposed to open your eyes and see this other dimension. But if you can't open your eyes, the glasses let you see.
Yep.
And I was like, it's so unnecessary, but so absolutely necessary to this story.
That is what allows you to see the veil between worlds.
Yeah. What a
So
fantastic little inclusion. So
Except
now he can see.
Cereza doesn't necessarily need it because she can still see it without the glasses.
She says, I don't need them.
Right, because she's part of the magic. But here's this fucking magical item that brings you into this.
And then she's like, can I have my glasses back? And I think that's when he opens his eyes to being able to see it now. And this is when he starts to realize, as we progress through the story, that in fact, it wasn't Bayonetta who killed his dad, but it was the angels that did it. Essentially, his family was set up to make this happen. And so we finally get backstory from Luka, which is kind of crazy that he's the one who gives us the backstory.
Right.
500 years ago, also in Vigrid, there were two clans, which we know. They worked to make peace in the world, but one witch and one lumen fell in love, had a child, and they were like, no, this is heresy. And the Umbran witches decided to raise her. The clans fall apart, trust is gone, everything goes to hell. Both of them are like, we want the gems for ourselves. We must have both eyes. And apparently, like you said, his father was looking for information on this.
The left eye or the right eye was trying to follow this fucking path.
And he found Bayonetta's coffin, and that's how he died. The angels came for him because he opened the coffin.
Yeah, real horrific scene with the little boy's like, Dad! And
He gets
gets
ripped
apart in front of him.
And then there's just another throwdown with Jean. Jean shows up and it's just like, hey, remember me? I'm awesome. Let's fight. So now you're on a plane.
Yeah.
This one equally fun.
Super hard. This was a great fight.
Yeah, also this fight is very strange in that the plane, when you think about it, doesn't make a lot of sense. When you look at the actual plane, you're like, how does this plane fly?
Yeah.
Again, it's a Final Fantasy plane. Doesn't matter. A very cool fight happens.
The plane was like fucking falling apart as you were
you're fighting, the plane's falling apart, still in the air. And immediately afterwards, Luka shows up in a helicopter for some reason. How he got out there.
To save the day.
To save the day, obviously. And then
He basically flies. I don't know how he flies, but he basically gets thrown off the top
he
of
has
shit
the little
and
hook.
it's fine.
He has the rope hook thing.
That fucking Batman hook. Just zing.
Yeah, he's the bionic commando.
Yeah,
You can
right.
do no wrong. And there's another boss fight. We're in the water. Very cool stuff. The resolution and them on that helicopter is my favorite scene in this game.
Where the little girl's in the back, sort of like resting or whatever, and he's just looking at them
He
sweaty
finally realizes
puppies.
how sexy Bayonetta is, and she's talking about stuff, and he's just staring at her tits the entire time. And
Sweating, going down her body.
The camera does a pan around her, and one sweat bead like hits a nipple, and he's like, oh!
He hits it so hard.
It's amazing. And then suddenly 2 missiles fly at them. And the cut there is Luka's face.
Yep.
Cereza's face, Bayonetta's boobs. It's
Super
incredible.
fun. It's super fun. And then we get a fucking surfing on missiles.
Yeah, the helicopter blows up and they surf a missile to the city. Why they thought that was a good idea, doesn't matter. Cereza's like, Mommy, what a great idea. And you're like, what? The insanity culminates with you going to a building that's, just be aware, none of this makes sense the rest of this game. None of it makes any sense.
At this point, we're turned up to fucking 11 at this point.
None of it makes sense. The villains are a corporation on the island where the Resurrection Festival is going to happen, but the corporation president is actually the secret last Lumen clan member who is actually
The guy who was talking to you on the train.
who is actually Bayonetta's dad.
Right.
And actually, Cereza is young Bayonetta pulled from the past to lure old Bayonetta, who actually, as you find out from Jean, that Bayonetta has had the left eye inside of her the entire time, and that the right eye is inside her dad, and that he needed her there so they could pull off a thing where they resurrect God. It's insanity. And then you find out that Jean is actually the one who put Bayonetta in the coffin to protect her from her dad, and her dad mind controlled her in order to make her lure Bayonetta. It's insanity. It's insanity.
This is the part where the water droplet hits the water and you see the ripples and then just a fucking huge explosion hits the sky.
It's insane. Before we even get to the boss,
Fuck the Tower of Truth. That is one of the most difficult parts of the game, where the platforms disappear and you gotta get to the different parts. I can't fucking tell you how long it took me to beat that fucking part.
this entire ending is both amazing and the most frustrating thing in the world.
You do boss fight after boss fight after boss fight.
So you start fighting Jean, who is trying to launch missiles to level the city.
Yeah, which, okay.
And then you fight on missiles, and it's really cool and cinematic. You discover the origins of the rivalry of you two and how you're actually best friends. And then she dies, question mark?
You're fighting on the side of buildings and then on missiles. It's such a good fight. It's so many different acts, and every time you get to another cutscene, you're like, oh, it's over. Nope. Oh, another cutscene, it's over. Nope. It just keeps going.
After that, you then go confront your dad.
Right.
And then your dad, I wrote down this note. I thought he was wearing peacock feathers. Nope, it's just a peacock. He has a literal peacock on him.
I kept waiting for it to wake up or something.
It just hangs there like, what up? And so the dad, when he becomes superpowered, after he throws Luka out of a window.
Right.
Luka's
I'll
like,
kill you like your father. And then you're like, oh, his dad fucking died. Which, does that mean that Bayonetta's father killed his dad?
Yeah, because it's all set up. He needed to get to Bayonetta, and so he had his dad do the research to find Bayonetta because Jean had hid Bayonetta at the bottom of a lake so that her dad could never get access to her.
Yeah, okay.
And so he discovers her, and the angels come to kill him and to kill Bayonetta, but Bayonetta fights her way out, and so the little boy witnesses it all, and he grows up to be Luka. You fight the dad, who becomes a peacock man,
right?
And that is a multi-stage, insane fight. As everything's falling down, I wondered again, I was like, wait, is Luka dead? What happened to Cereza? What's going on? But again, you remember that she has like time-stopping abilities and stuff. I was like, oh, all right, I'm not worried.
This is all happening in a millisecond of a second.
And so they're doing this crazy battle where he's a peacock man, and he has sort of peacock angel wings. And the coolest thing happens where just when you think you're about to beat him, between every phase, you summon your cool hair powers, and then he's like, no, and he murders the dragon one.
So sad. Every time you happen, I'm like, oh no, my babies.
It was so cool. And as you fight him, this almost kind of moment of what powers do I have left to use against him?
Right.
What do I have that can beat him? Because nothing's going to beat him. The one thing left, the one thing we haven't used at this point is Jean's bullet control.
Yeah.
And the scene we get when she fires her gun at her dad, and the bullet, you control it as it's passing through
so fucking dope
glass, and you have to move it around, and you can see the reflections. It's such a cinematic scene. It's like a much better version of that movie Wanted.
Absolutely.
It's so cool the way they do it, and then it just pops him in the head. And then, hilariously, he's like, oh, they'll summon Jubilee, and then dies. Luka shows up on a rocket. Apparently, he was thrown onto the back of a rocket somehow.
He fucking hates rockets at this point.
Cereza is perfectly fine. Everything's good. And she's like, I'm going to travel back in time now to take myself back to the past. And this is where I have my question for you.
Okay.
She takes Cereza back to the past. Cereza, being her, takes her back, drops her off at the Umbra cult place.
Orphanage, temple, whatever.
Drops her off, and as she's laying there, sings her Fly Me to the Moon. My question for you is this a chicken and egg scenario? Clearly, the flashbacks are 500 years ago.
Right.
Bayonetta is singing the song during those flashbacks. But that's Sinatra. It's not a medieval ditty. So did she, by singing it to herself in the past, make it so that she in the future and through all those past scenes knows the song?
Yep.
So then, where did she learn that song? That is the deepest question that I had coming out of this game. I was like, wait, what?
It's so deep. I don't know, because did she hear it at some point in the 20 years? But she obviously like knows every line of it.
Before, yeah.
Ooh, so is there... Okay.
It's a paradox.
She wrote the fucking song. That's the answer. This is her song.
But when? When did she write it? Because she taught it to herself as a kid.
You can't teach. I don't know.
It's a paradox.
I don't know. Oh my God.
Paradox.
It's an infinity eight right now, Jesse. I don't know where it starts and where it ends.
But it doesn't matter because plot twist, again, it's all fate. All this was meant to happen. Baldur, or whatever her dad's name is.
Yeah, Baldur's
like,
Gate or whatever.
You big dummy. I'm somehow still alive, and I'll knock you out with the power of the eye inside of you. And then we'll both go into the eyeballs of a giant statue.
Fuck yeah.
That is on top of the building, and the building is actually a rocket that launches into space.
Yep, which again also feels very Final Fantasy. Like all buildings turning into rockets makes a lot of sense.
The whole island this takes place on reminds me of Final Fantasy. There's straight up dudes in robes standing next to also just tax attorneys.
Yeah, just army dudes.
Again, it's the festival.
Right, of course, the festival.
They're all there for the Resurrection Festival, and they're all looking up like, oh, it's time.
John's will is strong enough that she's like, fuck no, this isn't happening.
She rides her motorcycle up the side of the building.
So fucking dope.
It's incredible, and goes and saves
You
Bayonetta.
turn into a cat, you run up the fucking thing. It's so
You use all
good.
of your powers. It's incredible. She saves Bayonetta, and is just like, Bayonetta, you've got to fight back. And then as they're in space, gets sort of sucked away. And then as Bayonetta, you fight sexy female god.
That's one of the best fights in any video game.
It
the
is.
way that it builds up, the scope of it, the fact that you know Bayonetta can do this. I already have confidence that she's going to do it,
Right.
but can we get there? Oh,
It's a masterful work of art, this fight, because it starts with, at the beginning, you're literally just fighting her tassels or whatever,
Yeah.
her wardrobe you're fighting, and by the end, she's flinging literal galaxies at you as you sort of like pull her apart bit by bit.
you think it's over. Oh no, we ain't anywhere close to
So
over.
you are like, the only way I can defeat her is by making the giant hair golem version of her and punch her into the sun.
Yeah.
And so you as Bayonetta are riding her into the sun, sacrificing yourself to finish the boss off once and for all.
And you have to fucking control her. You're slapping the controller
It's
the whole
crazy
time.
to me that you are technically playing as the last boss, trying to guide her into the sun as you pass all the planets. And just when you think all hope is lost, the real hero of this game,
Yep.
the lady in red, Jean, shows up and is like, don't give up on me, you dumb bitch. Let's get out of here. And together, you rip apart this deity and just shred pieces of her. She evaporates into the sun.
So fucking
So cool. Luka on the ground is just like, oh, goodbye, Bayonetta. And then cut to the funeral for Bayonetta.
Right.
And it's a casket, and there's a woman in a white nun's outfit, and Rodan's there, and Joe Pesci's there, and Luka shows up with 2 giant funeral wreaths and throws them on, and the angels descend, and it's revealed, she pulls off her outfit, it's revealed that it was Jean, whatever.
In her sexy nun cosplay now.
And she's like, no more cosplay.
yeah.
And murders all those angels, and right then, from the coffin, explodes Bayonetta. It was another trap to kill more angels.
It was just a trap. They just need those fucking halos.
They gotta pay the demons, and that's the ending of the game. It's so. Oh, you know what? I forgot the main point of this entire game.
Yeah.
The entire time, Luka is like, "What's your perfume, Bayonetta? It smells like rosemary." And she's like, "No, rosemary you ward off demons with, and I don't want that. And it's about past memories and whatever." And at the end, she puts rosemary in her cologne.
Hell yeah,
Or
she does.
Cologne her perfume.
That's fine. It's the lady version of it.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, and that's the one thing where he's like, she does like me.
What a wonderful journey that you get to go along.
I also like to point out that Enzo, somehow barely in this game, ends with, you gotta be shitting me.
Yeah, right. Just like one more little oh yeah, don't forget about him.
He's here. It's a phenomenal game. Like, this is a thing where I imagine most people who are watching this have already played it.
Yeah, hopefully.
And if you haven't, everything we've said so far where you're like, that sounds weird, or what I'm watching, that sounds weird, there's nothing we can say that you're going to be like, I'm prepared for this game.
You won't be.
You never will
It'll
be.
surprise you at every turn. Every turn in this game is delightfully wonderful. Bayonetta 3 is coming, bro.
So, I'm excited.
Bayonetta 3, I am too. I'm so excited we plugged into this world. I'm so excited to know about her.
See, that's what this show's about. It's about getting you amped on games that you were like, I didn't play this, but now I played it, and now I'm really excited. We gotta curate the best games that you should have played in your life.
Bayonetta is a game that you should go play. It will be reminiscent of so many other things, and the more time you put into it, the more you're rewarded. Way more than other games. Way more than other games.
And that's Bayonetta.
This game is just a solid, fun time for everybody. Go play this game.
I never say this, but drop everything in your life. Play this game.
Unless you're carrying a baby. Don't drop that baby. Go put the baby safely down in a bassinet or some sort of basket to fall down the river like Moses. But once it's done, go play Bayonetta.
Also, special thank you to all the patrons out there for your support of this show. It's because of you that we get to do this.
Viewers like you make this happen, and we are so appreciative for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's with your money that we fund the crew. We bought this loft in the middle of downtown LA to film this. And we got the most expensive alcohol we could find. Thank you again. It means the world to us. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you so much for watching the Gentleman's Gaming Club.
where's the payoff?
Bring the strippers and booze.
We do occasionally talk about video games.
Bring the strippers and booze.
I don't have time for video games.
Bring the strippers and booze.
Oh, thank God, I don't need pants now.
Hey, JC, what are you doing? Not much. Making a fortune.
It's a promotional broadcast.
Yeah, now sing music.
It's a promotional broadcast.
Bring the strippers and booze.
It's a promotional broadcast.
I'm here to ask and answer one simple question.
It's a promotional broadcast.
You got